Hello, and thank you for listening to my presentation about the Vocabulary Self-Collection Strategy by Linda Gonzalez. The purpose of my presentation is to inform general and special educators, student teachers, and anyone else interested in learning about the Vocabulary Self-Collection Strategy in order to enhance reading comprehension in struggling readers, not only in ELA classrooms or in English language arts classrooms, but also across different content areas such as mathematics or biological sciences. What exactly is the Vocabulary Self-Collection Strategy, otherwise known as the VSS strategy? The VSS strategy helps students to determine the meanings of unknown words using context or what is happening in the story. It starts by a team that is assigned by the teacher, and also the teacher assigns a text portion to a team of students, as stated by Vaca and Vaca, MRAS 2017. The strategy raises attention to the vast vocabulary that surrounds a text and allows students to brainstorm what a word could possibly mean based on what's happening in the book, or what the students can predict will happen next in the story. As a result, and also as an advantage, the teacher is able to use a list of words that are self-generated by the students in order to use them for additional literacy activities, also meant for the purpose of having the students generalize their newly learned vocabulary to other content areas or other classrooms. So this strategy fosters solid word knowledge that improves reading comprehension in struggling readers, as stated by Vaca et al. 2017. The importance of this strategy is that it fosters a solid word knowledge that improves reading comprehension. Therefore, a student will come across comprehension difficulties if they do not know the words in a text, as stated by Vaca et al. 2017. How can the VSS strategy be implemented in the classroom? So first of all, as in with any other learning technique, the teacher first models what is expected of the students. She models the strategy. The teacher shows the class the word that she herself has picked out, and then models the way in which she would answer the 3 questions that follow along the lesson, as stated by Vaca et al. 2017. For independent practice, each team that is assigned by the teacher or designed by the teacher chooses a word for further study as they need to read it from the text portion that is also assigned by the teacher. The team spokesperson presents their chosen word to the class and then answers the questions that are posed by the teacher. The questions are: what do the team members think the word means? Where is the word found in the text? And why did the team think the class should learn the word? Afterwards, student presentations of the chosen word take place. The words are written on the board by the teacher, and also the discussion of the lesson is facilitated by the instructor the whole time. And also the other students are also given the opportunity to share their thoughts and clarifications or confusions about any word or words. So what are the benefits of using the vocabulary self-collection strategy? Benefits include that it improves the students' reading motivation. It improves their desire to read, as they are able to interact with the text, interact with other students, and be able to question the author, question the content of the book, and ask questions as they continue to discover the meaning of the words that they are looking for. Another benefit is that the VSS strategy can be used across different content areas in order to understand specific language. So thus, leading us to the conclusion that literacy strategies are also necessary in courses other than reading or ELA courses such as math or biology. Thus, literacy strategies in any content area are needed in order to improve the comprehension of a student as they learn the content-specific vocabulary of that subject area, as stated by Gafoor and MK 2015. Improved comprehension and greater possibilities of the student generalizing their newly learned vocabulary across various subject areas also occurs. To say an example, in a math course. So students in a math course are required to understand the symbols, the concepts, the vocabulary, and the expressions that are present in the content and that are far from related to their everyday communication. Therefore, needing a literacy strategy or some kind of a vocabulary strategy in order for them to remember the vocabulary of the course. Thus, it can be argued that literacy strategies are needed in any content area because there is always going to be language or vocabulary specific to that area that would be otherwise unknown to the learner. The VSS strategy works to benefit ELL students or English language learners as they are transitioning from one language to English. To quote Deli Carpini 2011, VSS works to facilitate meaningful vocabulary development. The VSS strategy is particularly beneficial to ELL students who are also in special education, since they are the ones that have a limited vocabulary or a limited attention span and who struggle to generalize their knowledge or use their skills in another setting or another scenario other than the special education classroom. How can the VSS strategy be implemented in a classroom for students with learning disabilities? This strategy can be adapted to fit the needs of students with learning disabilities by having students choose a word from a text at their instruction or reading level, even though it would be below their grade level, their actual grade level, specifically with specific learning disabilities. The teacher would read the directions in smaller steps, use plenty of repetition and clarification, and ask the students to repeat what she has just said. As our first example, there are 3 fifth graders who are currently reading at a 3rd grade level. They are specific learning disabled in the area of reading comprehension, and they are to pick a word from a 3rd grade level book from a list of 3 words. They are to choose which of those 3 words is the most important that they would like to further study. And these words were prepared by the teacher beforehand. After the teacher is done saying the instructions, she would have the students repeat the directions to check for clarification or understanding or to clear up any confusion. During discussion time, they would need maximal prompting, immediate feedback, and consistent redirection, as they have a limited attention span and a limited vocabulary. As our second example, I'll be talking about a group of 2 4th graders who currently read at a 2nd grade level. Liam and Dylan. They are speech and language impaired in the area of language. I would choose the word of interest for them. But first of all, before they continue anything, I would model the strategy for them, model how I would answer the questions and how I picked my word. Afterwards, I would direct my students to write down all their questions in their writing journals and have them answer the questions as best as they possibly can. They would then read the 2 assigned pages by the teacher and brainstorm what the word could possibly mean in the text based on the context. Immediate feedback and consistent or constant redirection would be provided all throughout due to their short attention span. During discussion, the students would have the opportunity to share their thoughts or to have any confusion cleared up about any words that they may have. This same process would be repeated on different days of the week using different words in order to expand their word knowledge or their vocabulary knowledge and be able to generalize these learned skills in other classes or other scenarios. In these 2 examples, used in a special education pull-out classroom for elementary instruction, modifications and accommodations throughout instruction would be provided, and the workload would be less as students with specific learning disability and speech and language impairment have limited vocabulary, a short attention span, and in need of frequent breaks in order to allow them to continue brainstorming about the lesson. So to summarize the key information and the important points that I have addressed in this presentation, our purpose of the presentation. Our purpose was to present the VSS strategy to anyone interested that includes special education teachers, general ed teachers, and student teachers, and anyone else interested in learning about the strategy. So the vocabulary self-collection strategy is designed to help students use context to discover unknown word meanings based on context. The teacher is to model the strategy first and foremost before anything, and the students are then to practice independently or as independently as possible as they can get, especially in a special ed classroom. Implement the strategy with students with disabilities using accommodations and modifications. Literacy strategies needed in different content areas, improved reading comprehension, and ELL students who benefit from using this VSS strategy. Thank you for listening and have a good day. Bye-bye.